Our next story is about the Titanic, the doomed ocean liner. It was once the world's largest steamship. It was called unsinkable. But on the 15th of April 1912, it went down during its maiden voyage. 1,500 people on board were killed. Decades have passed since, but its mystique has endured. It is now considered one of history's most famous shipwrecks. People risked their lives to catch a glimpse of it, and last week 5 people did just that. They sealed themselves inside a deep-sea submarine. They embarked on a voyage. Except now, they've gone missing. It's a race against time to save them. Our next report tells you more.
These are the last seen visuals of Titan, a tourist submarine. Last Sunday, it embarked on a voyage in the North Atlantic to the Titanic shipwreck. Titanic was the largest ship of its time. It hit an iceberg on its maiden voyage in 1912 and became the holy grail of undiscovered shipwrecks. Its wreckage was found on the seabed in 1985. Since then, it has been extensively explored. By the likes of Ocean Gate Expeditions, this is a tourist company. And it charges guests for $250,000 for an 8-day expedition to the famous wreck, which sits over 12,000 feet beneath the surface. Ocean Gate Submarine embarked on one such journey last week, with 5 people on board, including a British billionaire. The group was sealed inside the sub. External bolts locked them in. Soon after the dive, the submarine went missing. Contact was lost an hour and 45 minutes into the dive, when the vessel was more than halfway down towards the wreck. Now, United States and Canadian rescue teams are scrambling to search for the submarine, racing against time to find it. The vessel had a 4-day supply of oxygen on board. This means the vessel has less than 30 hours of oxygen supply left. So the rescuers are fighting against time. So far, they've been unsuccessful in finding the vessel, and things aren't optimistic.
As explorers, we are pessimistic and objective, and as it stands right now, it would be a miracle if they are recovered alive.
I think they may be stuck at the bottom of the ocean. Perhaps there was a breach and water came in. I'm not very optimistic for their return, but it's a cliche, but it's true. If this is the end for them, they went out doing something they loved.
This mission is complex. There has been no communication from the vessel. Visibility is quickly lost below the surface because light cannot penetrate that far. And the area where the vessel was lost faced poor weather conditions. But undeterred, rescuers are working round the clock.
The area that we search is roughly about the size of Connecticut. As we continue on with the search, we're expanding our capabilities to be able to search under the water as well. And so we have a commercial vessel that's on scene now that has remote operated vehicles that will give us the ability to search under the water as well.
US and Canadian agencies, navies, and commercial deep-sea firms are all helping the rescue operation. They've involved the use of military planes, a submarine, and sonar buoys. These are small marine buoys that are used to detect and locate submerged submarines. So underwater acoustic research was conducted to locate the vessel. And today it proved to be a cause of hope. Rescuers heard noises in the area where the submarine went missing. Rescuers say they heard banging noises at 30-minute intervals. So US Navy experts are now analyzing the sounds. Some experts say that continuous noises suggest humans, but research is underway to prove it. Many aren't too optimistic, but the world isn't ready to give up hope just yet.
Before I begin the next story, brace yourself for some random facts about a seaport. But trust me, by the time I finish the story, it'll all make sense. We're talking about the port of Karachi. It is located in Pakistan. It first opened in the year 1857. And today it is the country's largest and busiest seaport. It handles about 25 million tons of cargo every year. That's about 60% of the nation's cargo. And this port is crucial, not just for Pakistan, but also for South Asia. It is one of the largest and busiest in the region. But why do you need to know all of this about the Karachi port? Because Pakistan is selling it. The country, as you know, is in crisis, in desperate need of money, so it is selling a key asset. The Pakistan government has drafted a 5-year agreement. They want to hand over 4 berths at the Karachi Port. Do you know who the buyer is? The UAE, the United Arab Emirates. And this is not even the most interesting part. You have to see the pace of deal negotiations. They're moving at breakneck speed. A cabinet committee was set up, led by Finance Minister Ishaq Dar. It met with Abu Dhabi stakeholders this week, back-to-back meetings on Monday and Tuesday. They quickly finalized the framework agreement and pushed for a go-ahead from the federal cabinet. As fast as that, it's only a matter of days now. A commercial deal is set to be signed in the next few days. Now, if you followed government contracts in general, you would know that these things take months, even years. So to have wrapped it up in just a few days is exceptional. Either the Pakistanis are very, very efficient or very desperate. I don't want to say which, but I'll tell you this. Pakistan is stuck in an economic vortex. The inflation rate has risen to about 38%. The cost of food is soaring, and it's only worsened since last summer. Last summer is when Pakistan suffered devastating floods. They caused damages worth $30 billion, 30 billion. The country is already buried under a pile of debt. It now faces the risk of default, meaning it may not be able to pay its EMIs on time. Pakistan had signed a bailout deal with the IMF in 2019, the International Monetary Fund. It was a deal worth $6.5 billion. This is the money that the IMF was supposed to give to Pakistan. But for this, Pakistan had to fulfill certain conditions. It did not. So bulk of the money has not come. And this deal is set to expire by the end of this month, in the next few days. Pakistan wants to revive it, but chances are dim. So selling the Karachi port may be a last-ditch attempt to raise some cash. And perhaps Islamabad saw this coming because last year, their government passed a law. It's called the Intergovernmental Commercial Transactions Act. This law is aimed at selling state assets and fast-tracking such sales to raise funds. The Karachi port deal is the first transaction under this law. But why the UAE? Because the UAE is Pakistan's third largest trading partner. The first two are China and the United States. Average annual trade between the two countries stands at $8 billion. It is also an ideal export destination for Pakistan because the distance between the two countries is not very much, so transportation costs are limited. Also, politically and financially, the UAE has supported Pakistan in the past. Hence this deal. But it only reflects the dire straits that the country is in. Selling state assets to raise cash is the last of the last resorts. It can be a dangerous trend for a rogue nuclear state. Back to Washington, and amid all the buzz about the state visit, the Bidens are in an awkward spot. This is thanks to the president's son, Hunter Biden. He's caught in legal trouble, and he's set to plead guilty for tax evasion. But that's only half the story. As the White House rolls out the red carpet for Prime Minister Modi, it is facing a flurry of allegations and accusations. The charge is that Hunter Biden has got off too easy and that the US Justice Department is going soft on him. Now, Hunter Biden is no stranger to controversy. For years now, he's made news for the wrong reasons. In this instance, the timing couldn't have been worse. Our next report tells you what the charges are and how the president is dealing with them in an election year.
Parents aren't usually very upbeat when their son is found committing a crime, much less admitting that he committed a crime. What are we talking about? Hunter Biden will plead guilty to tax evasion. He has also struck a deal with the US Justice Department on a separate gun charge. But the Bidens aren't ordinary parents. Joe Biden is the President of the United States, and Jill Biden, his wife, the First Lady. They are powerful people. People that have lived life large in the political circles of Washington, D.C. Hunter Biden has had a rough life so far. He has dabbled in drugs, multiple relationships, including with his own sister-in-law, and even crimes. Yes, crimes. That's where things get serious, and not just any crime. We are talking about tax evasion. Now that's a whole different ballgame altogether, especially coming from Hunter Biden, son of the sitting US president. But Joe Biden doesn't seem very concerned.
Mr. President, have you spoken to your son today? Have you spoken to Hunter today? Mr. President, any reaction to his guilty plea?
Thank you.
There's more. The White House has issued a short statement. It said the President and the First Lady love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life. We will have no further comment. Let's quickly tell you what the case against Hunter Biden is. The years were 2017 and 2018. Hunter Biden was supposed to pay the government $100,000 in taxes each year, but he didn't. Now that's a crime. For his failure to pay taxes, Hunter Biden technically faces 2 years in prison. But there's another charge against him. This one is gun-related. In 2018, a firearm owned by Hunter Biden was found in a dumpster in Wilmington, Delaware, apparently tossed off by his then-girlfriend. It was not a major crime until 2021, when Hunter decided to reveal that he was addicted to drugs at the time. That revelation raised the possibility that he broke federal law by purchasing a firearm, and for that charge, he faces 10 years in prison. So put together, Hunter Biden faces a maximum penalty of 12 years in prison for A. tax evasion, and B. for illegally purchasing and possessing a firearm. But now, Hunter Biden will plead guilty to the tax charges and struck a deal on the gun charge. So he is very unlikely to be sent to prison. But the Republicans have pounced on the opportunity to hit out at the US president. Donald Trump took to Truth Social to vent saying, "Wow, the corrupt Biden DOJ just cleared up hundreds of years of criminal liability by giving Hunter Biden a mere traffic ticket. Our system is broken." Republicans are comparing the Justice Department's treatment of Trump and Hunter Biden, and claiming that there's an obvious bias at play. Whether that's true or not, Joe Biden would rather not have the Hunter Biden scandal break out right now. President Biden is upping the ante against guns, and he's also a champion of the wealthy paying more taxes. So his son illegally owning a gun and evading taxes does make things very awkward for senior Biden. Hunter Biden's controversies did not stop Joe Biden from becoming president in 2021. But the big question is, will it derail his re-election bid?
And now it's time for Vantage Shots, images that tell the story. We're starting with Argentina. Violent protests have erupted there. This is after a constitutional reform restricted the right to protest. Demonstrations are on in Colombia too. Thousands are marching against economic and social reforms pushed by the country's leftist government. In the US, new footage shows the devastating aftermath of a tornado in central Mississippi. And finally, what happened today in history? In the year 1945, American forces captured Okinawa during the Second World War. With this began the Allied invasion of Japan. We're leaving you with these images. Thank you very much for watching, for your patience. We're sorry for all the noise. Like I said, it's a rainy morning in Washington, D.C., but we love bringing the stories to you from wherever we are. We'll see you tomorrow.
The bloodiest battle of the Pacific War has ended in victory for the Americans on Okinawa. 330 miles from the home islands of Japan, the stars and stripes are hoisted on this most vital strategic...
Son bulones.
Una situación completamente descontrolada.
Escuchamos que hay respuesta de la infantería.
Primero con 2 gases lacrimógenos y ahora sí, la policía que avanza balas de goma y también han lanzado gran cantidad de manifestantes. Que cuarto auto y la policía intenta exactamente. Primero con gas, miras a la policía, ahí corren el portón, abren el portón directamente. Rompelo, no saques nada, rompelo. Es impresionante, no paran las leyes a avanzar.
Entre todos, apoyar